Muted.
Welcome everybody to the Mortgage Mastermind Group's Friday Top Producer interview. And the top producer we have with us today is I am honored to be able to call this gentleman a good friend of mine, mortgage lender out of the Baltimore, Washington, D.C. area, pal, Mr. Alan Gross. How you doing today, Alan?
I'm doing great, Paul. Thank you.
I appreciate it. And Alan, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you taking time out of your day and your schedule to spend time with us and to share with the other masterminds who have joined us today a little bit about what you do in your business. And so kind of to give everybody an idea of what it is Alan's going to be sharing, Alan has come up with a program he calls Appreciation Marketing. And the presentation, correct me if I'm wrong here, Alan, but the presentation we're going to see today is the actual presentation you give to realtor partners or potential referral partners, is it not?
It is the presentation I give to realtors, mostly one-on-one. I have done some groups. It's a presentation I'm working on trying to do stuff with title companies with, and it does get tweaked. I tweaked it yesterday. I saw something in a private Facebook group on the internet, and I liked what the person had posted, and so I added it to my presentation.
That gives me a coaching point, guys, for the things that you're presenting on, whether it be something like appreciation marketing or if you've developed an awesome presentation on how to present your single property website system to agents. Let that be a living, breathing thing. Never think that you've got it perfected. Always be working on making it a little bit better. It kind of goes back to, everything can be improved on. Every professional athlete goes to, and Al and I were just talking about this, every professional athlete, pro football players, pro baseball players, pro golfers, they practice their craft. They don't just rely on, getting out on the golf course, getting to the first tee, and that's the first ball they hit for the day. No, they've usually hit 100, 200 balls before they even get to the first tee. Football players, same thing. They spend 4 or 5 hours several days of the week just walking through the different places they need to be on the field because they feel they need to practice it and get better at what they're doing, so in that live situation they're the best they can possibly be. And that's a lot like what Alan's done here. He continuously is practicing this and making it better so that it's the best it can possibly be. So that's my teaching point for that moment. I apologize for doing that, but it was a good opportunity to take right there. Alan, tell us a little bit about, go ahead and dive in and guys, pretend you're a real estate agent and you're sitting in front of Alan right now, and he's going to talk to you a little bit about his appreciation marketing campaign.
Yes, I started this actually, I think it's been 1.5 years ago, because as we all are aware, most real estate agents don't know who they did business with last month, more or less last year, the 2 years before, and they don't follow up. They don't keep in touch with people. And so as one of the legs I've wanted to put together is, we all want to have reasons to get in touch with agents. We all want to have reasons to present to agents. We all want to have reason to help agents. And so I get together this thing I called appreciation marketing, and I use it as one of my legs for my meetings. And it gives me a lot of reasons to follow up, and also I'll show you later on, it gives me reasons to connect for a long-term basis with them if they want to do with some of the systems that I use. So I'm just going to sort of start. I call it appreciation marketing, and again, I do this mostly one-on-one. I have done this for some groups, Active Rain groups. I've done it for some meetings. I've had title company I'm working on doing presentations in front of groups. But to me, it's one of the things that they need to do. And I've actually gotten, I talk to agents when I talk to them about what do you do to follow up, how do you keep in touch, and they all mostly say they don't do anything, or they don't know, or they don't have any systems in place. As a matter of fact, I talked to a guy yesterday, and I said, we did this presentation with him about a month ago, and I said, how are you coming along with some of the things we talked about with appreciation marketing? Are you doing anything? And he said, listen, I need to get together about that card thing you talked about, but I'm going on vacation next week, so I'm going to call a week from Monday, and we're going to get together and go again. So it's another reason to meet. It's another reason to help him with the business. But let me sort of go through the presentation. Most people have probably seen this quote. I open with this quote. I've learned that people forget what you said, people forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And this has something to do not just with real estate agents with clients. It has to do with you working with real estate agents. We can't just go. Paul's talked about it. We just can't go jumping into a presentation. you've got to get to know the person. You've got to develop a relationship, and how you make them feel is developing the relationship. So that's important.
Absolutely.
I also talk about Joe Girard. I don't know if anybody knows who Joe Girard is, but Joe Girard was a car salesman, I think back in the 60s, early 70s, and he worked at a Chevrolet dealership in Detroit, Michigan, and all of his business came from referrals. And Joe was the top salesman for automotives in the entire world, and he is the only car salesman who's ever been inducted in the Automotive Hall of Fame. And how did he do this, and why was he inducted? Because Joe developed a system of staying in touch with his customers and potential clients. He got a phone call, he got a contact, people would come in. This is back in the day before all the nice tools that we have. He would write it down on a card, and then every month he would send somebody a unique greeting card, a little card. Sometimes, and Paul knows this because he's seen this, sometimes the card says, "I like you." That's all it said, "I like you." But it was just a friendly reminder to let people know that he was there. And he would send out about 13,000, if you could imagine, cards per month. But he did a lot of things, and some of them were Groundhog Days and other things. But it's just an important point to know how important keeping in touch with, and that's what I use this slide for.
Joe Girard is he should be a hero to all of us because he invented follow-up. He is the guy that invented follow-up. He's the only car salesman in the Guinness Book of World Records as well.
Yes, correct. And
the most sales in I think it was a month. He had the most car sales in a month, and it was in the hundreds, guys. And
yeah.
you want to talk? I've sold cars before. I know what that takes.
And by the way, what Paul and I are doing here is he's going through having a conversation. When I do this presentation, I don't do this as a presentation. I do it as a conversation. Even when I've done it in front of groups, I've done it as a conversation so that we talked going back and forth. It takes the presentation a little while longer, but we do it as a group, and I'm sorry about the bark in the background. My dog all of a sudden decided he wanted to go out right before noon, and we can't do that. Anyway, one of the quotes I put in here is John Kennedy. "We must find the time to stop and thank people who make a difference in our lives." And thank you is something we need to do. We need to do it regularly. Real estate agents need to do it with their clients. We need to do it with agents, and not just with agents, but with title companies and other people we do business with. Everybody probably has seen this. I stole this. I don't go into the needs assessment. I don't go into telling them to grade how they're doing. But it's one of the things I do to sort of check the mind up and say, hey, these are things you need to be thinking about when you want to do your business. Lead generation, database management, prospecting, presentation skills, follow-up skills, closing skills. And in the last several months, I added social media and mobile marketing because they've become big things. But this is a slide that I use to sort of get them thinking about the things they need to do to be successful in their business.
It probably prompts them because of the grade. Even if you're not asking them to grade themselves, Alan, they're looking at it with the grades there, and it's prompting in their mind, not just thinking about prospecting or think about database management or what they're doing with social media, but they're already in their own mind thinking without maybe not expressing it to you, but they're thinking to themselves, what do they give themselves, an A, B, C, D, or F?
Exactly.
Where am I on that scale? Even if you're not asking them to do so, they're subconsciously doing that to themselves, giving themselves that grade there.
That's exactly correct. And again, I come up with another quote, Dale Carnegie: "You can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get people interested in you." And this is where I talk about, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. We should listen twice as much as we talk. But again, it's all about setting the trend, getting the thoughts into the mind, and that's what this slide is for. This is something when I put this presentation together, I did some research online, and I found some people that talked about different quotes and stuff, and I can't even pretend to pronounce this guy's last name. But he did a paper titled "The Unappreciated Art of Saying Thank You." And basically he said, by the time we're 2 or 3 years old, most of us have learned that people like it when we say thank you. Conscientious parents gently remind their children, and what do we say when someone does something nice for us? By kindergarten, we have learned that the proper thank you somehow makes the day go more smoothly. And yet in our nonstop, sometimes frantic lives, we easily forget the importance of gratitude, the value of the often brief but vital connection we make with strangers when we take a moment to smile and say thank you. Civilized men and women benefit from saying it as much as the one extending the kindness appreciates hearing it. So, again, thank you is a word that we don't use enough. Thank you is something that we don't do enough. Any thoughts, Paul?
I like, you know what, that's part of, we don't thank everybody in line that needs a thank you. It's easy enough to look at the person right in front of you and say thank you, but what about the person that referred that person, and then the person that referred the other person, that whole string of people that need a thank you? And that's what I think is appropriate about the appreciation marketing, is that it's a long line of being able to appreciate and thank those that are involved in something, and everybody likes to feel appreciated. Everyone wants to be recognized for what they did. And a simple thing like a thank you, even though, you know, it may be two people back that I'm thinking, you know, hey, thank you for referring Steve to me, because Steve just referred Jeff over to me, and Jeff's a great guy, and I'm looking forward to helping Jeff get into his home.
Exactly. That goes back to the 7 levels of communication.
That's exactly what it is Michael Mayer. It's you know, that simple thank you, that little note that you let that person know you appreciate them in some small way. It goes a very long way for ensuring, you know, like you said, the longevity of the relationship. That's what this is all about, is extending not just a one-time kind of, ooh, I like you, and then that's the end of it, but a long-term situation that's producing results for you over and over and over.
Absolutely. And as Michael Mayer said, people want a reason why. People are afraid to call somebody because they don't have a good reason. Well, if somebody refers somebody, you can call 2 or 3 people back and call them up and say, hey, thanks, and you're thanking them, but you're reconnecting with them, and that's what it's all about.
That's fantastic. That's the best reason of all, is to give somebody thanks and appreciation.
Okay. I define appreciation marketing as communicating appreciation to your customers and prospects and showing them in a tangible, and the word there is tangible, way that how much you care. Everyone has an invisible sign on their heads that says, makes me feel important. And when you do that sincerely and with your customers and prospects, will love to do business with you and will enthusiastically refer their family, friends, coworkers, and business associates to you. Now, in today's business climate, it's essential for success to show how different and unique you are and how much you care. And again, what I'm doing here is I'm sort of setting up the reason why appreciation marketing is important.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just sort of it's sort of a setup there. Again, a couple more quotes. I'm big on quotes. Everybody knows this quote. People don't know how much you don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I knew that quote. I wanted to use that quote in my presentation. I Googled the quote to find out who the author was. And that's what I did. And then referrals come through who you are, not what you sell. As we all know, in the mortgage business as well, it's not the company you work for, but who you are at the company. People are going to come to you because of you. They're not going to come to you because of the name on the door of the company.
I've said that for a very long time. People do business with you, not the company you work for. The company you work for gives you certain advantages, programs, you know, rates, things like that. But reality is that's on your side personally. That's what the company does. For someone to do business with you, it's about how you make them feel 100%.
Absolutely. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen this in some of the classes and stuff. I call this, are you making enough touches? 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. It's hard to believe, but it's true. 25% of salespeople make a second contact and stop. 12% make only 3 contacts and stop. Only 10% of salespeople make 3 or more than 3 contacts. And it's important. And why is it important? Because, and you know this, 2% of the sales are made on the first contact, 3% on the second contact, 5% on the third contact. So that means after 3 contacts, you maybe got a 10% chance of doing business. You get to the 4th contact, you've got another 10%. So now you've got 1/5 of a chance after 4 contacts to do business. 80% of sales are made out in the 5th to 12th contact. That means you need to stay in touch. Now, I'm going to go over a little later what contacts are. Contacts aren't just meeting face-to-face or not just a phone call. There's lots of ways you can do contacts, and we'll go over that in a few minutes.
That statistic means to me that only 90% of people have fallen out after that 3rd contact. Only 10% make more than 3 contacts. So over 90, I think it was 95% of the sales happen for only 10% of the sales force.
Mm-hmm. And actually,
which percent do you want to be stuck in?
That's exactly correct. And I will tell you that I did Michael Mayer's class, and one of the things that Michael Mayer talks about is first and 10 calling. You know, making 10 calls first thing in the morning. And what that meant to me was and maybe it can mean the same thing to you, is that what I realized is when I start talking to somebody, I stay in touch with them. I got email systems. I got card systems. I got a lot of systems. But one thing that I didn't do between somebody starting to look for a house and my getting the pre-approval started and them getting the house is I didn't call them on a regular basis. So I've put together a spreadsheet that I call First and 10, and I have on that spreadsheet the borrower's name, the agent's name, the home phone, the work phone, the email address, the last date I called them, what action I took, whether I spoke or left a message, and a couple of notes. So now, at least every 2 or 3 weeks, I pick up this list and I call all the people that are in my prospect list that are somewhere starting to look for a house. And they may not have started the pre-approval process, they may be in there, but I call them every 2 or 3 weeks to let them know that I'm there and I care about them. And I did that. It was one thing I learned from Michael Mayer, even after I did appreciation marketing. There's still stuff you can learn.
Awesome.
And why do customers leave us? Well, we have 1% that die. We have 3% who move away, we lose touch. We have 5% who find some friend to do business with. We have 9% who find some competitor that sold them on something. 14% are price sensitive. But the main reason people leave is perceived indifference. They don't feel that you care. So during the process and after the process, you need to be doing things to let
Alan,
people
say
know
it
that you care.
exactly like you said a second ago. People don't feel like you care.
Exactly.
That is the key word to that whole thing. And guys, girls, if you take anything away from this, I mean, much more above just, the appreciation, take that away. It is about the way that you make people feel, and that's evident in that statistic. 68%, almost 70%. It's close enough. Let's call it 70%.
Yeah.
7 out of 10 people walk away and don't buy from you because of a perceived indifference.
I'll tell you the
That's
statistic
based
I
on
use.
how you made them feel. That's how you made them feel, or not feel in this instance.
Exactly. And when you're talking to real estate agents, all you have to use is NAR statistics.
Mm-hmm.
The National Association of Realtors, and I think Paul probably has quoted this before, the National Association of Realtors says that 92% of people who buy a house or sell a house through a real estate agent say they will use them again. The actual percentage that actually do is around 8.
Yep.
Why? Well, you're hitting the
reasons.
They forgot
who they were. They don't remember who they were.
Exactly. Appreciation and referrals. For someone to give a referral to you, they must, and everybody knows the first 3. They have to know you, they have to like you, they have to trust you. But what most people forget is they have to remember you.
It's easy to think. Well, it's easy to think that if you know me, if you like me, if you trust me, well, he remembers me. Not if I don't keep in touch with you, you don't.
That's correct.
That's absolutely that's great stuff. I'm borrowing this one from you, Alan.
You can take it. You know if you need a presentation, it's there for you.
I like this one.
Okay, what do you have to do to increase your business? You need to have the right tools, the right systems, the right habits. Agents have tons of tools. They're always buying silver stuff off the internet or from something. They have tons of systems. They don't always have the right habits. But the important thing is you have to consistently apply these things. It doesn't do any good to have tools. It doesn't do any good to have systems. It doesn't do any good to have habits if you don't apply them. And we all have that weakness, and I'm included in this. There are weeks I go by and I get to Friday, I said, God, I didn't pick up the phone enough this week. I need to make more phone calls. And that's consistently applied.
That's the key right there. Is all those things. It's about the consistency, because in anything that you do is quite frankly, in my personal opinion, a waste of time if you're not doing it consistently. Because it's you're famous for saying you're buying brain cells. It's exactly what you're doing. Is planting that seed each and every time you do it. And if it goes back to that other statistic. They don't buy on the first, the second, most of the time, not the third or the fourth. It's after that. You've bought enough brain cells now with the 5th or 6th or 7th communication. You have to do it consistently to be able to get any kind of results from it.
Yeah, and particularly when you're trying to build a relationship as a mortgage person to a real estate agent, because if you're going after agents that do business have relationships. They've had relationships for a long time. So you've got to step in and show them why you're good, and you're not gonna get a relationship on 1 visit or 2 visits. Some of these things take 3, 6 months, a year to build. They just do. It's unfortunate, but they do. Now, appreciation marketing. Who should you show appreciation to? This is a slide I came up with, and I actually directed this slide sort of towards real estate agents. By the way, that little quote at the top says, "The deepest principle in human nature is the craving to be appreciated." That's by William James. And at the bottom, I have appreciation, the lifeblood of your relationships. But on the business side for real estate agents, I talk about appreciation of their clients, their prospects, their colleagues, referral partners, employees, vendors, service professionals, lawyers, insurance agents, accountants, financial advisors, home inspectors. These are all people they can show appreciation to. On the personal side, family, friends, coworkers, service professionals, home and auto repairs, doctors, dentists, hairdressers, teachers, store and restaurant people, daycare providers, tradesmen, coaches is a big one. These are all people you can show appreciation to, and they can be good referral sources to you. And it's just so important. And I'm going to tell you when I started the appreciation marketing thing, the thing that I was probably did the least was family and friends. I was all business stuff. I do more with my family and friends now than I ever did, and guess what? Everything is much better.
You'll never run into one of those situations where, oh, Mildred's buying a house. Oh, and you didn't refer. Oh, I forgot you were a mortgage person.
Exactly.
That'll never happen with your friends.
Exactly. I just put a little thing in how to grow to your garden. Daily water your garden. And this goes back, it can be as much for a mortgage person as it is for a real estate agent. Pick someone from your contact manager and reconnect with them. And that gets back to the first and 10 calls, you know. Just pick up the phone and do some stuff. Find a reason to call somebody. Plant the seed. When you meet somebody new, start the relationship and keep it going. Be intentional. Don't just ask for a referral, deserve a referral. And when I talk about start the relationship and keep it going, I'm talking about touches and things that you do that they know that you care. Customers and prospects. And this is something I talk to real estate agents about. Do you have a system or systems to stay in touch with your past clients, customers, and prospects? Does the system encourage them to refer to you? Does that system reward them for a referral? These are all things that you need to do. Now, when I do the presentation, I do it as a conversation. And this slide generally gets a lot of conversation.
So you're more asking the agent, hey, I can see this happening as you're sitting with the agent, you get to this slide and you're asking them, you know, do you have a system in place to stay in touch with your past clients and customers? And you wait for that answer.
Exactly.
And listen intently. Well, let me ask you, that's awesome. I'm glad, you know, most of the time I know that they don't have a system. That's great that you do. Does the system encourage them to refer you? What are you saying in your, you know, what's your system offering or saying to them? Are you giving them a reward when they do pass you a referral?
And
you're creating a conversation and asking the questions here.
Exactly. And a reward doesn't have to be something expensive or really tangible. It can be some form of a thank you. It can be a note or a card that you send.
Or a brownie.
Or a brownie. Yes, you know about me and brownies, don't you? Ways to keep your current clients and acquire new clients. Provide good service at a reasonable price. Now, I will tell you that we talked about the percentage of people who buy on price. It's like 14%. You're not going to really do, if you don't have the lowest price and that's all they sell on, don't bother working with them because it's not going to be it. But if you have a reasonable price and you give good service, you're going to get your clients. There's the reason that the low-price vendor doesn't have all the business. Put a system in place where they will remember you and what you do. That's important. Show them you appreciate your business. You're getting a recurring theme that I talk about this a lot. Serve others. And serving others can be meeting people through some of the charity groups or other things that you do.
I like that. Let them know that you are interested in the community and helping. You know, it's not just about how much money you guys can put in your pockets.
Exactly. I don't know if anybody in the call is as old as I am, like dirt, or remembers the back in the 90s and stuff. They used to do the round to it presentation. The guy would go on stage and he was talking about excuses. Don't post, in this case, don't postpone your appreciation. Don't wait till you can get around to it. And the guy on stage would say, well, get around to it. And he would have this wooden round to it in his pocket. He would bring it out and say, here, I've got this round to it. I'm giving you the round to it now. No more excuses. Do it now. And I talk about the importance of doing it now because we all have a tendency to put things off. I think that I come back to the class I took with Michael Mayer in the first and 10 calling, although I don't do it first and 10 every morning, but I do it sometime. Getting around to it and doing it is important because it's so easy to slough it off and let it go. But there's little things that you can do that can be so important to your business, and I talk to real estate agents, little things you can do to be so important to your business.
And that's, we talked a little bit about that, and I think you were there for that, Alan. We talked about that exact thing yesterday, is that around to it, and that motivation to implement the things that we want to do, and understanding why you're doing it, what the outcome is, can really be a huge motivating factor.
Exactly. And I'm going to go back to your class. This slide goes back to your class yesterday. Determine what it is you want to accomplish personally and professionally. Second question, why do you want these outcomes? You got to have a why. It goes back to what you talked about. When do you plan to start your journey? And when I have a conversation, you want to do this now? You're going to wait 3 months? You're going to wait till next year? Who are the people in your life who are waiting to be appreciated? And I say to them, I bet you if I gave you a pen and a piece of paper, without any problem at all, you could write 20 or 25 names on a piece of paper of people you would like to be in touch with appreciation. And when I talk about that, I don't talk just about clients. I talk about their family. I talk about their friends. And then how are you going to show appreciation? I ask about that. Now, ways to say thank you. This is where I talk about appreciation marketing. Phone calls. This is where I changed the slide. I took the mayor class and I put first and 10 calls because I talk about the importance of making calls. Google Voice or umail.com, personalized greetings. I happen to use Google Voice a lot. With Google Voice, if someone leaves me a message, I can go into their phone number, and I can, after they've done that, I can leave a custom greeting for them. Like it'll say, hey Paul, sorry I missed your call. Look forward to talking to you soon. Don't forget to leave a message. Have a great day. So the next time Paul calls and leaves a message, he's going to get that greeting, not the general greeting.
Nice.
It's a personalized greeting. And there's something called umail.com, which also can leave a personalized greeting. I learned about that from an agent I know up in the Boston area.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's a little thing. It's personal, and you have to have a service that you can use it with, and that's why I have a couple. Email is another way to stay in touch. I use Follow My Clients. And I use Follow My Clients to send out an email birthday card. And it's just as an example. And so every time when it's somebody's birthday, they get an email birthday card, and I know who sent it. I don't know how many people are familiar with Happy Grasshopper. Happy Grasshopper is a service that sends out a fun email every 3 weeks. They give you like 6 or 7 or 8 choices that you can do. I happen to make up my own because I look for something that has a video attached to it. And I send out a video every 3 weeks. And this goes out to clients, friends, real estate agents, attorneys. It goes out to everybody. But it's a fun thing. It's just a little PS on the bottom about mortgages. It's not about loans or mortgages. It's a fun thing to stay in touch so they know my name. I get 4 or 5 emails back, liking the email every time. I get usually between a 20 and 25% open rate on that email. So it's a good way to stay in touch. Social media is another way to stay in touch. I stay in touch a lot on Facebook. I spend a little time on Facebook every day, and people have asked me why, and I said, well, it's because I have over 200 friends on Facebook that are real estate agents now because I friend them when I start a relationship. And I read their Facebook posts, and I comment on their posts. I also do it with clients. But more importantly, under the events section in Facebook, it tells you when their birthday is. So I just go to the events section every day on Facebook, and I say, whose birthday is today? And I have in Animoto, I have a little stock video I've done, and when it's their birthday, I just go in and I clone the video. I put happy birthday with their name on it. I do a little happy birthday cake that has their name on it. I take one cake out, put one cake in, do the video, and I post it on the Facebook page. I also, and I didn't start this until.
And by the way, people love that. I know I do that quite frequently as well, and people absolutely love that. Here's the thing that you got to remember is that most people on Facebook have 200. They say the average is 250 friends on Facebook. So everybody on this call has had a birthday and has a Facebook account. You know what happens is 60, 70, 80, 100 people go on there and just write the words happy birthday, done. Well, what Alan does is he happy birthday, hope make it a great day, and puts a video on there. It stands out against the other birthday greetings. People love it. People will comment back. That's one of the few, you don't sit there and say thank you to every single happy birthday on there. People typically at the end, I want to say thank you for all the well birthday wishers. Thanks for helping make it such a great day. But on the one with the video, they got a personal message there. Thank you so much, Alan, for that video. I loved it.
Yeah,
It happens all the time.
it does happen all the time, and it helps you establish relationships with people you don't have them with.
Hmm. It's another way to engage. You're communicating. It's a warm up.
And the other thing about Facebook is, and if you patrol Facebook a little bit every day, and look for the clients you friended on Facebook, and look for the agents you friended on Facebook, you find out things about their personal lives there.
Hmm.
So if they've had a baby, if someone's getting married, if they feel sick or been sick, or they're doing a vacation, you find out about it. Then you have another reason you can send them a card, you can drop them a note, you can drop them an email, and comment about the baby or something. I realized in late June that I was having a lot of people getting married and having babies, and they were appearing on Facebook, and they were posting lots of pictures. And so I have an 8x11 card, one for babies and one for weddings, that I send now to people after I see that on Facebook. In fact,
Nice.
for one person, one of my previous clients, it was his son that got married, and I had friended his son a while back, and so I called up his father and I said, hey, your son got married. What's his home address now? I don't have it. How'd you know he got married? I said, I saw it on Facebook. So I sent this nice 8x2x11 card with pictures of the wedding and stuff to them. But that was really two contacts, because I reconnected with the dad, and I connected with the son.
There you go.
And he just got married, so you think you might think about buying a house in the near future?
He's probably going to be in the market fairly soon here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next thing you can do, and I got this. I was sitting in an Active Rain meetup, with a cancer walk thing a while back with an agent. She says, yeah, I do drop-ins or pop-ins and whatever they want to call them. And sometimes she pops in with or without a gift, and you'll see something that I picked up the other day, just yesterday, from this. But it's just another thing that the real estate agents can do. They're in neighborhoods all the time. They can stop by a house, knock on a door, and say, hi, how you doing? Easy to do. Everybody knows about the handwritten note. A lot of people use the handwritten note. I've got lots of notes cards on my desk that I've collected over the years that don't use, but that's okay. I've gotten into greeting cards. I'm big into greeting cards. You can also do small gifts, and I'll talk about small gifts a little later on when I show you what I picked up yesterday. And then you've got Facebook and custom audience. Thank you, Paul. With a custom audience, you can start targeting stuff to people. You put your custom audience together, and you put your ad together. And you can target real estate agents with custom audience. You can target clients with custom audience. You just, and you don't have to be a friend with them. You just have to go get their Facebook ID number. But and custom audience ads can be cheap. I mean, I used to do pay per click. I've gone to more, because they're general ads. I've gone more to cost per thousand. And I'm touching real estate agents. I'm spending 7-8 cents a day. And I'm getting, I know from looking at the reports that I'm getting 200 to 300 at least views a day. And it's just a way to have your face in front of people. Small thing. Whoops, what did I do there?
Constant branded.
Yep, I just went down too far. Okay, there we go. Custom audience.
Constant branding is what that offers you.
That's exactly
and a
what
really easy way to do it.
Mm-hmm. Now this is what I talked about that I added to my slide yesterday. There's a small group, and you can see that there's about 44 members. I got invited into this group by a real estate agent, and they're agents all over the country. But this person posted yesterday, and I liked it. It's called Stay the Faith. And I'll read this. I don't know if you can read this, but it says, sharing this here, one of my few brilliant 4 a.m. moments a few months back was to reach out to past clients to celebrate their first anniversary in their home. And it can be not just the first, it can be any. It was a gable-style box that I got from Hobby Lobby. Okay, I got it on clearance, $1.67 for 5. I filled it up with chocolates and my 3/16 4x6 note card, which I guess she uses for something, with a handwritten note. This week I drove to my client's house. As I delivered 11 boxes, all but 2 weren't home. How's that? Not home, didn't make any difference. But those I did stop by, I actually got to talk to. It was a gesture that they did not expect. Showing up with a 1 box really made them smile. Some even laughed. We got to talk about their home, what's going on. Every single one of them gave me a big hug. One, I even found out that the builder needs to replace the wood floors because it was backy. Anyway, just by going by and keeping in touch on Facebook, displays mean we can't ignore those house calls. So basically she's saying she does stop-bys or pop-ins or whatever you want to call them, and she puts a little cheap box together. The box probably cost her, well, I'm betting it's maybe $3 or $4 total. A few candies and a card. But I thought this was important, and I put this in my presentation because I know a lot of real estate agents don't keep in touch. And I know from talking to some that they get a lot from doing pop buys, and so I thought this was sort of a cool thing to put in to my presentation because it's not me telling them something, it's another real estate agent telling them something.
And telling them the impact that it gave to her. Do you think any of those people that gave her a big old hug and talked about the buckling floor with the builder, you think any of them would refer her?
I think they probably would.
My guess would be, especially now. Because, again, what she did is she gave them a feeling. It has nothing to do with the little $1.67 box. It has nothing to do with the Hershey's Kisses inside the box. What it has to do with is the feeling that they got when they opened the door and it's their real estate agent with a gift. Because she remembered and wanted to thank them again and show them appreciation for the business they did a year ago.
That's exactly correct.
Big. That's where it gets big.
And this is important when you're talking to agents about things that they can do. And again, we've talked on different places about the flower pot strategy. It's a little different because this is somebody you already have a relationship with, and you're already sometimes in the neighborhood. And I'm willing to say that if she did 11 deliveries, it probably didn't take her more than an hour and a half or 2 hours, because she left 9 of them at the door and just walked away.
Those little things, it's those little things that give us those big feelings. And I know this is on an aside, but you know, I believe, I want to say Joy Bates does this, Chad's wife. She goes out and she's got this little place where she buys these little plastic trophies. They're like 87 cents a piece to get, you know, she buys them by the 100. And as she does, you know, meets a new referral partner or does a transaction with somebody, she does a drop by and brings that little trophy for them. It's the stupidest little thing, but you know what? It goes a million miles. They love it, and they display it proudly on their desk. And guess what they think of when they see that little trophy proudly displayed on their desk? They think of Joy Bates. Yeah, absolutely. They're thinking of Joy Bates, and all it was her coming in, doing a little bit of appreciation. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. You are a rock star. Here's your rock star trophy. Oh, that's so cute. And boom, just that. It's a leave behind that it's always in their head, just like that box, that number one, you know, the 1 year box with her 316 flyer in it. They remember that, and that box isn't going to go away until every candy is eaten out of it, or they do the next spring cleaning.
Exactly.
It's going to sit there a while.
That's exactly correct. In my research, I found this guy, Raymond Ray. He's an author and speaker, wrote an article, and I didn't even know American Express had a form. But they apparently have a form, and he wrote an article titled, How Thank You Cards Can Build Loyal Customers. And he points out 6 reasons why thank you cards are important. Writing thank you cards breaks through the digital clutter of our lives. How many people do you see walk around and they're always staring at their damn cell phone?
All day.
They're having a meal with somebody at a restaurant, and they're both looking at their cell phone. They're not talking.
Most of us on this call are guilty of said charge.
Thank you cards show you care. It's a little bit different. Building relationships of trust and like are important in business. Thank you cards, they help you don't be forgotten. What do we talk about? Being remembered. Thank you cards are great marketing tools, and sending thank you cards disciplines you not to use the computer so much. I mean, it's so easy sometimes to drop somebody a quick email or a text message or something, but we all know that they don't get read or they get flipped off real quickly. I don't mean flipped off in a bad way.
Now, here's the thing, Alan. It's what's happened is, 10 years ago, 5 years ago even, email marketing, it was new enough. It was still very prevalent. It wasn't the norm. Getting emails, getting the constant emails, the email marketing has become the norm in the day and age that we're in. Where it used to be direct mail was the norm, and every now and then you'd get some sort of marketing in your email, and that was a big deal. Everybody read every piece that came in. It's the opposite now. It's reversed itself. Now people are looking in their inboxes and their email. The first thing they're doing, just as they did before, is they're classifying an email based on just what they see and what they're used to. They're classifying it before they even read it as if it's value or junk mail right away. And just like we did in the 1990s with our Direct mail campaigns, we're putting them in two piles. One pile doesn't get read, it gets thrown away. The other pile gets read. That's what's happening in email. And now, because it's not so commonplace to have it in your inbox or in your mail, in your direct mail, they're opening these envelopes. They're opening these cards, these greeting cards that we're sending them. And now your message is being read. And it's giving a feeling of different, and it's giving a feeling of appreciation, as opposed to that appreciation, even though the effort was there, like with an email, it's not being received, even though the message being delivered.
And I think that's important. You need to deliver your messages in more than one medium.
Absolutely.
Phone call, email, mail. You need to touch people in different ways. And again, in putting this presentation together a little over a year ago, I found this guy, Ralph Marston, who had a thing called the Daily Motivator, and he wrote, "Make it a habit to tell people thank you, to express your appreciation sincerely and without expectation of anything in return. Truly appreciate those around you, and you'll soon find many others around you appreciate you. Truly appreciate life, and you'll find that you have more of it." And I think it's probably true. If you give appreciation, it comes back more than one-fold, many-fold. So and again, I just sort of put this in there because I talk about appreciation marketing, and I want to show people that it's not just me talking. There's other people that say this. I picked this up also off the internet, and I don't know whether it's Dr. Irving Misner or Meisner. I don't know how he pronounces his name, but he wrote a post titled "Send a Thank You Card." Now, he is the founder of BNI. I'm sure everybody knows what BNI is. It's the world's largest network marketing organization, and he wrote, "A simple thank you card may not sound like going the extra mile. To many people, however, it truly is. The old-fashioned, handwritten thank you card has largely been replaced by email. When was the last time you received a traditional handwritten thank you card? What was your reaction? If you're typical, you're pleasantly surprised that you appreciated the sender's time and effort." And I think that's true. He went on to say, okay, so you just won't do a handwritten card no matter what I say. Then take a look at sendoutcards.com. They allow you to send out a card that looks handwritten that can be done from your computer and sent through the mail. This is a great service for the handwriting impaired like me. I highly recommend this service.
The handwriting impaired, I like that.
Me, and the like me fits me.
Yeah.
It really fits me. But again, you're doing something to touch people in a different way, and you've got lots of people who are talking about the same thing. And don't just send an email, send a card. According to the Direct Marketing Association, 97% of greeting cards that come through the mail get opened. I don't know what happens to the other 3. This is probably one of the most effective forms of marketing you can do. Let your clients know how important they are to you with an effective appreciation marketing program. And again, if you go up to what I've talked about, I haven't talked about a thing. I've talked about a number of things that make up a program. Now, I'm going to go into a more specific thing about what I talk about when it comes to cards. Let's face it, sending a handwritten thank you card makes great sense. Most people would agree to that. However, let's be honest, sending handwritten thank you cards can be inconvenient, time-consuming, costly, and easy to forget. There is a solution that makes card sending fast, fun, convenient for about a third of the cost of what you're used to spending, and the system never lets you forget. The system is called Send Out Cards. It's what the guy, the BNI, talked about in the previous slide, and it's changing lives in positive ways. I was actually introduced to Send Out Cards by a real estate agent, and I use Send Out Cards a lot. And it is one of my legs. It's one of my appreciation marketing things, along with the other things we've talked about. Now, what is Send Out Cards? Send Out Cards is a customer relationships management service, and it's changing the lives in positive ways. And I asked this question: do you ever go to the store and buy paper greeting cards or gifts?
Of course.
Do you believe? Oh, yeah, everybody does. Probably not as much as you would like, but you do. Do you believe in expressing thanks, appreciation, or acknowledging special occasions or accomplishments? I think everybody does. Do you want to increase your client base, client retention, referrals, and build personal and business relationships?
Of course.
To me, that's an obvious question. If so, this system will save you both stress, time, energy, and money. And by the way, I don't sell Send Out Cards. I use it as a leg to help real estate agents. It's one of my legs to help real estate agents do business, and it also helps me connect with them and stay in touch. If you need to send a card or a gift, simply log on to the Send Out Cards site. You'll need to join through a distributor. And by the way, once this real estate agent introduced me to Send Out Cards, I became a distributor. not because I thought I would make money at send-out cards, because I realized the importance of being able to use cards to develop relationships with real estate agents.
That's
And
the
I have.
important thing, and that's really important to clarify that for, it's not about, you're a distributor and you're going to get 50 agents sending 50 cards a month. That might generate you $150. Sure. And it has nothing to do with why you do it as a distributor. What being a distributor allows Alan to be able to do is it allows him to offer that service to his agents directly through him, and therefore making Alan an integral part of their actual ongoing business. Not that they can't get it without Alan, but because he offers that ease, or the easy way to be able to do it through his distributorship, he's now part of their business. Alan now has built-in reasons to pick up the phone and say, hey, Paul, I noticed you haven't done any greeting cards this month. I wanted to make sure you're staying on top of your communication with your past client database as you said you wanted to do in our meeting. Is there anything I can help you with to help you get this month's card ready to go? Because it's important that you stay consistent, because the consistency is where you gain the credibility. The credibility is where you gain the trust. Let's make sure you stay consistent. It's not about him selling them more send-out cards. It's about giving him another reason to get in touch with that agent and brand himself as a person that can help them grow their business. And as that person that can help them grow their business, it affords Alan the right to say, and oh, by the way, is there anybody you met this week that I can help you get to the closing table? And they're more comfortable, because he's a business partner of theirs, saying, oh, yes, Alan, there is. Can you give Jeff a call? He's looking at a $270,000 home. Can you give him a call? He needs pre-approval. See how that whole thing kind of trickles down?
Yes,
it's
it
not
does.
about selling cards. That has nothing to do with it. It's about being the person that can provide that tool to them, to provide the answers to questions that they have, to help them with something that, quite frankly, if they implement it, I guarantee you it will produce results. Because it's one of those things that even if you do it a little bit, it produces a little bit of a result. The more you do it, obviously, the more result you get. But this is one of those things, especially for an agent that doesn't use any kind of system, doesn't do any kind of marketing to their past database. Would you agree like that? I mean, it just,
Yes.
even just a minimum kind of doing some of this, even a one time, they will get some result out of it. And then now you're part of their business. That's what it's about.
Yeah, and the other thing is, there is a private Facebook group for real estate agents who use send-out cards.
Okay.
So the agents can join that group, and they can go see what other cards are being sent, and learn, how other people are using send-out cards in the real estate business. So I don't go and sell it as a service to make money. I sell it as one of my touch points.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to
that you provide.
Exactly. And send-out cards has 15,000 or over 15,000 stock greeting cards with 50 different categories. What I like about send-out cards is you can create your own custom cards with your own photos, your own images, your own card covers. You can upload photos. You can put a video clip into them. You can do logos. You can do original art. You can do just almost anything with them. Most of my cards actually are I will say custom, because I use the same card over and over again with different people. But I've talked about finding out if somebody was sick. I have cards I send when people they're sick, and they quote something on Facebook, and the card has the quote in the card when they send it to them. I stubbed my toe on the falling down the stairs at the open house, and they go, sorry to hear you stub your toe in the open house falling down the stairs. That goes in my card. It's personal.
Which is, I mean, that's, you see, to me, there's a difference in a printed and a handwritten card. But by having that customization and you putting that little bit of a personal touch to it, it now becomes a handwritten card. It's now personalized in a way that a handwritten would be the same thing.
Exactly. And
does that make sense? I don't know if I explained that where it makes any sense. Okay.
In my case, I've got stacks and stacks of cards I got from Viral for Only when I was with Joe Stump years ago that I never used. And one, I didn't get to it. Number two, I didn't get to the post office. Number three, people can't read what I write. So
that's my issue.
What can I say? What can I say? This and send out cards is sort of the bridge between high tech and high touch with a personal card. Because with send out cards, I never leave my office computer to send the card. You go online, I can design the card, I send the card. I don't have to stuff the card, I don't have to seal the card, I don't have to stamp the card. All I have to do is design the card or use one of the stock cards, put it in the system, and it gets sent for me. And if I
What
want to
I
add
love
a
about
gift,
it is you don't have to get in it, make a stack of cards and, oh, you've got to get across town to the meeting and there's no post office on the way. I'll send those out later. And then tomorrow comes and they're still in the stack. Oh, God, I didn't get these out. I'll get these out today. I'll get these out today.
that's
And a
exactly
week goes
right.
by and they're still sitting there. They're all stuffed. They've all got a stamp on them. They're all ready to go. But you couldn't get to the post office because this came up or that came up or the other thing came up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you never touch a piece of paper. You never have a printer. You don't have a stamp. You don't go to the post office. You can design your cards and get them out 24 hours a day. And I will tell you, I presented this to an agent several months ago, and she took her a while to get started. And one of the things she said, Alan, even after I went through the presentation, on the phone, she said, Alan, I don't want to have any inventory. And I said, you don't have any inventory. It's all done online. You don't have a piece of paper. You never see a piece of paper. And the nice thing is they have nice little gifts. Paul talked about brownies earlier. I like to send brownies once in a while. It's an inexpensive gift that goes right with it. Goes in a little box. Here comes the card. Here comes the brownies. People love them. Now, this is really where, and I have to admit, I've been using send out cards. It'll be 2 years at the end of this month. And for the first 6 or 9 months of having send out cards, I sort of had my toes in the water. I'd send a card here and there. I'd do a little bit here and there. I sent a lot of holiday cards, Christmas cards, because it's a great system to use and you can make it custom with the name on it and stuff, and I can send them out all at once. But in the spring of 2013, I got to thinking, there's more to this thing. First off, I can use this for closings and business more. My real estate purchases involve 6 cards. When the loan starts, I send a thank you card to the buyer. I send a card to the selling agent letting him know the person has applied. I send a card to the listing agent letting him know the person has applied with my contact information. I'm not hiding. When the loan closes, I send a card to the buyer. And actually, this is an 8x2x11 card, and I got the idea from another mortgage guy down in Tennessee who showed it to me. But I have a picture of the house on the card. I send them a picture of their house, an 8x2x11 card. Don't think that card gets thrown away. I think it gets shown to people. Mm-hmm. I send a card to the listing agent and the selling agent after closing. Congratulations, sell your home. So there's lots of reasons to send cards. And also, one of the key things, and I didn't even, this took me well over a year to think about, birthday cards. It's a little thing, but people really appreciate it. So I came up with a birthday card, and I have what I will put in quotes stock birthday card that I use, and all I do is I go to redkid.net, and there's this little way you can get a white cake that says happy birthday with your name on it, and I use that. And I got to go get a different cake after a year or so, but I just put happy birthday with your name in it. I put that cake with their name on it inside the card. It takes me a minute or two, and I send them a birthday card that's got a cake with their name in it.
Personalized.
It's personal.
Everybody loves getting birthday cards. Is there anybody on this call right now that doesn't love getting birthday cards? Yeah, I didn't think so.
And the one thing and I didn't even think about this. The one thing that Send Out Cards does so well is that they have a calendar, and if you put birthdays and anniversaries, the anniversary could be the wedding anniversary, it can be the house anniversary, whatever you make it. But when you put it in the system, 2 weeks before that event comes up, you get an email. This event's coming up. So 2 weeks, you got 2 weeks to get it done, and then you can go look at the calendar every day in your account, and it's got everything there. I started, and I didn't start doing this till the spring. I started putting birthdays in, and I send a ton of birthday cards now. And by the way, I know people are out there asking, isn't this expensive? No. It cost me to send a customized card, not the stock card. It cost me to send a customized card, including the postage. It cost me $1.42 a card. And if I do a stock card, it's like $1 something, $1.02 or something. But it's very inexpensive to do. Your return investment to me is good. And again, you can send out gifts and gift baskets and all kinds of stuff. You can do cards from your home, your office, your PDA. There's just it's just a lot of things that you can do with it. And this is just an example I put in, and I did this actually, Paul, right before our presentation in 2013. I had a client on Facebook who posted on Facebook, nurses, teachers, and administrative assistants are all amazing people who help society every day. But just for once, I would love to have a technical sales rep appreciation day. So I thought I'd have a little fun. I made up a card, Technical Sales Rep Appreciation Day, and you can see the card, because when she got the card, what did she do? She posted it to her Facebook page. Do you think I got a little recognition? And that thing, that little thing, arrow comment, one of the comments down there was from one of the people she had referred to me. So it's not just whoops, it's
so
not
that
just,
$1.42, the $1.42 you spent on that card, it actually produced for you, I don't know what your average is, let's just call it $2,200.
Yeah.
So a $1.42 investment to generate $2,200. Anybody else game? And I know not every card does that. I get that. I'm just saying. But even if you spent, let's say you sent a whole bunch of cards out this year, and let's say you've got $1,100 invested in send out cards, or since it's the number $1,420 invested in cards this year. Let's say that's what you've got invested in cards. How many loans has that turned into? Let's say it's a minimum. Let's say just the card effort, even at a minimum, did you let's say 5 loans this year. That's $10,000. Anybody else on the call willing to trade $1,000 for $10,000? I know I am. I'll put money in that machine all day, every day.
Yeah.
I know I would. This is a great strategy. You know, that's what I love about this, Alan, is more so than just being a cool, it's a great strategy, but you've got a purposeful, planned implementation process in place that is just, it's constantly branding you as somebody different. First of all, you've got something expert that the agents, you're teaching them something that whether they know they need to do database follow-up or database management or whatever the case may be, you're showing them a specific plan on how they can do it in their business and be successful with it.
Exactly.
Which is branding you as somebody different by itself. That's not to mention the appreciation marketing that you're using with your own clients that's generating things like a lady getting a technical advisor's appreciation day and therefore referring you some more business because you made her feel the way she wanted to feel. Mm-hmm. You made her feel, you gave her the feeling she wanted, and she liked that, and it turned into more business for you.
Yeah, and I've sent a lot.
What I like about this is it's a full-on, purposeful, planned implementation process. I love what you're doing here, man.
And if anybody, and I don't have time today, but if anybody wants to see some of the stuff I do, be in touch, and I'll be happy to share with you. I've got actually another presentation I did for Paul, but we might have time that shows some of the cards I created a year ago. But anyway,
if you guys want to see some of the samples, just let us know and maybe reach out on the Facebook fan page. And Alan, if you could share them there, that'd be great.
Mm-hmm. And again, people are busy, and with the deluge of emails we receive every day, many emails don't get opened. Plus, when you know somebody, when did you know somebody who's gotten excited about opening an email? Honestly, you get excited opening an email? Unless you got an email that your grandchild has just gotten bored or something. It's not just the same as going to the mailbox and receiving a piece of mail that is inviting and fun to hold and opening it. And when you send a special thank you card to one of your clients or prospects, it shows that you really care. Remember, it goes back to what I talked about in the very beginning, and that you took the time to thank them for their business. Again, it goes back to that very first quote that I open up with, and that's why I open up with that quote. And again, that's my presentation. If you want to see a little website I put together, has a little bit about a couple of videos about send out cards. It has a friend about my Jay McHugh, my friend up in Boston I've met, who's a real estate agent up there, a little video from him, a little bit of information. You can go to createcustomcards.info. And that will get you there. And by the way, when I showed you the Happy Grasshopper thing, I had happygrasshopper.info. You can also get the Happy Grasshopper at happygrasshopper.com. With Happy Grasshopper, they know that I talk about them, and so I bought the URL happygrasshopper.info, and it goes into a little space that they know that you came in through me.
Cool.
So that's an upfront disclosure.
Awesome stuff. And guys, girls, I recommend definitely go check out that createcustomcards.info and check out some of the samples that are there. Regardless of whether you use send out cards or some other service that's available, that's not what today's presentation was about. What we wanted you to see was, this really is the presentation that Alan gets in front of real estate agents with. So what he's teaching them is a system, start to finish, an implementation process. What he's given them is a way to be able to improve their business, and he's the expert behind it. He's the person presenting it to them. Now, I'm going to tell you this. He's presented this to a lot of agents, and you know what? A lot of agents have said, oh, wow, Alan, that is such great stuff. And then a week later, the agent forgot all about what that great stuff was. That's because not the agents. This isn't about convincing the agents to implement a postcard or a greeting card strategy. It's about showing them that he is interested in helping provide them with some sort of strategy to help them grow their business.
Yeah,
and
there are
it gives
4 or
him
5
that reason to follow up. Go ahead.
There are 4 or 5 strategies in the presentation.
Oh, and it's specific to helping them grow their business. He didn't once mention how this helps him get more loans. He didn't once mention if you do this, you're going to get more people and you have to refer them all over to me. That wasn't part of it. He didn't talk about his rates. He didn't talk about those things. He talked about them and helping them get more people to respond to them by doing a simple thing like reaching out in a different way instead of with the email, with a greeting card. Instead of, doing the same old thing that everybody else is doing, do something different. Put yourself in a place that makes them feel good, that's fun to do. The recipient thinks it's fun to get an 8.5 by, think about this, if you got an 8.5 by 11 card in your mail with a picture of your house on it, what would you do with it? You'd show it to people. You absolutely would show it to people, and that's what it's about, is being different. And that's what real estate agents need right now more so than ever with the housing market that's doing some really good things finally. Those agents need ways to stand out, and so that's what Alan's showing them and offering to help them with it to become a partner. Great stuff, Alan. I can't thank you enough for taking your time today and stepping in when I really needed you most, my friend. Guys, girls, if you could do me a huge favor, head over to facebook.com/Mortgage Mastermind Group. That's facebook.com/Mortgage Mastermind Group. Just give us a little comment on there and show Alan a little bit of appreciation for stepping up and helping us out today and taking time out of his schedule to be our top producer interview of the week. Alan, thank you so much, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate you taking this on such short notice.
I hope everybody's taking a little spark of something away from today's presentation.
I always do. I mean, I've got a couple of things, little nuggets. I told you I was stealing that one slide from you in a little bit already, so I definitely picked up some things.
For your people around the country, I have shared this presentation and given this presentation to other loan officers. So if you have interest in doing this presentation or want the presentation, I'm happy to share it.
Awesome. If you could email me the PowerPoint, I'd be grateful, my friend.
Okay.
Guys, girls, thank you again so much for taking the time. I don't have it written up. I'll read it one more time to you, James. The Facebook address to show a little appreciation to our friend Alan for his appreciation marketing presentation, facebook.com/Mortgage Mastermind Group. facebook.com/Mortgage Mastermind Group. Guys, girls, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Appreciate you being here, and we will see you same time, same channel next week. Have a great weekend, everybody.